Hey!
Listen to me, you whining little whelp.
From the Gettysburg Tour Studio.
Hey everyone, it's Cameron.
Shut up!
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg Today.
There's no time.
You doing news or events first? Well, Cam doesn't drink, so we'll have his. Thank you. Happy birthday, Cam.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Addressing Gettysburg Today. I am Matt, and with me is Veronica, as always. And Veronica, hello, Veronica.
Hey, Matt. Still on your high from yesterday.
Yes, I'm still high from yesterday. On my high from yesterday, of course. So we are here the day after we had Superintendent Steve Sims on the show, and so far I hear nothing but good stuff about it from everybody, really. I don't know. Have you heard anything?
Just some positive feedback on the Facebook post that I made on my personal page announcing that we were doing it. There were about 4 comments after the fact saying they were impressed with him, thanking you for doing that, appreciating the transparency. I forget what the 4th one was, but yeah, everything was positive. Yeah,
I think it was out of the ordinary for a superintendent of a park, or at least this park, to do something like this. I mean, they talk to the newspapers or whatever, but to come on, I mean, let's face it, this isn't, primetime television. This is, it's a goofy little podcast that's operating out of a shed. You know what I mean? Right. So, he could have easily said, why would I bother? But, we speak for millions of people on this show. So he decided to come on, and I thought it went very well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
Engaging guy. I mean, I think pretty sincere, right? Like, Mom and I were talking about it last night over dinner, and there were a lot of opportunities for him just to have fed us a line of BS.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
And he, either said he didn't know, or he would work on a result, or just even he acknowledged himself there were some answers he knew he gave that he was sure weren't received well. But that's getting it from his mouth is pretty important. So. And
he, I also felt that he was being, honest with us and sincere and everything, and I like that. And I hope that is going to help him in his job when dealing with the public, that people will see, like, he's not, what did I say, like some lord with his fiefdom or something. Like, he's not that way.
Yeah.
He genuinely wants to do a good job for Gettysburg. But, like, I was talking with somebody, and we even acknowledged this on the show last night, but, like, Gettysburg is a real tough nut to crack. Like, there's no other park has its fanatics like Gettysburg does, right? I mean, we go nuts, and if the slightest blade of grass is out of place, we start to wonder what's going on, and then no answer, then there's a conspiracy theory that comes out. Yeah. And so I'm glad that, hopefully we were able to at least quell all the rumors that have started up to now.
Right.
I'm sure other ones will come out, as things happen, but that's the beauty of him agreeing to come back on the show once a quarter, is that we can address those things and he can clear the air, because it needs to be done. I mean, this place is too important to American history, but also to a lot of the people that live and come visit here.
Sure.
I mean, look, like you moved out here, and you didn't come here as a Civil War nerd. You're interested in it, and you're learning about it, but that wasn't Veronica before moving here. This is something you're turning into. You're morphing.
Just slowly.
But yeah, no. But what drew you here?
Well, from a practical point of view, I have to stay in Pennsylvania with my law license unless I want to take the bar somewhere else or try something else for a career. But I've always, going back to when I was a little kid, I remember fondly coming out here when I had no idea what the Civil War was, why it was important, the loss, or the sacrifice here, etc. But just coming out with my parents who did appreciate that as older folks, right? But coming as just a regular tourist and doing touristy things as a kid, that the hotel had a pool. I remember that. Right?
That's all that matters when you're a kid.
Like Little Pony Land or whatever it's called.
Land of Little Horses.
Little horses, and there's a candy store, and that's the kind of stuff I remembered, right? But as I got older, and I would come out this way for maybe continuing legal education seminars or something, I found myself just drawn to this area. It's gorgeous, first off.
Yeah, it is.
Totally different than the city of Pittsburgh. Even totally different than where I grew up in Westmoreland County, which is pretty rural, but not anything like this.
It's a totally different landscape, isn't it? Isn't it more mountainous out there?
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
This is more like what I would consider, besides the mountain ranges, like more rolling hills.
Yes.
We have a little bit more like steep inclines and
Yes,
things
yes,
like that.
yes.
But I was always fascinated with history, and this is an amazing place for that. I mean, it's a college town when it boils down to it, right? That's probably the biggest, if not second biggest industry.
Yep.
There's always like a lecture. This is pre-COVID understanding, right? Like I started my house search prior to COVID and everything.
Right.
There was always something going on, live entertainment at the wineries and the cider houses and things like that. There was always a speaker. There was always some kind of walk or something to do. I mean, there was always just something that this area has, even now as we're coming out of COVID, so much more to offer than, back home with, even just sitting outside at the square and having dinner. I mean, that's not something you do,
In
not
Pittsburgh?
where I came, not
No.
with Vandergrift and Pittsburgh. Yeah, I mean they have their little neighborhoods and things like that, but it's
Did people run into buildings and cars in Pittsburgh?
not as much as out here. I don't. Yeah, I don't recall.
There's something
that. I'm
about
sure it
here.
happened, but maybe because it's such a bigger territory with a lot more houses and buildings, maybe that it just didn't get reported as much or something. But for such a small little borough like this to have as many catastrophic,
I know.
like
Car
crashes, it's
strange.
pretty wild. Yeah. But
And I was telling somebody a story, and I don't remember the person's name, and I don't want to go into the story because their family might still be alive. But this was way before I ever came here. I think it was in the 80s, but a very prominent business owner. I want to say it was coming off of Tawnytown Road, making a left, had done that, and I don't know what caused this, but crashed into a building and died.
Yeah.
And so, like this phenomenon goes way back. And I wonder if we go back to the horse and buggy days, can we find newspaper accounts of a horse and buggy crashing into a building or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
It's a weird...
So, all joking aside, medical things happen when people are behind the wheel, right? My mom's best friend actually had basically a massive stroke and kind of... Was it a stop sign or stop light at an intersection? And everybody knew there was something wrong because she just kind of drifted into traffic. And when they responded, she was already deceased. But so things happen. But it seems like out here that they don't really coincide with medical, like nothing that we've been hearing report wise
has
is like,
been a medical.
I mean,
right. No, you're right.
It's weird stuff. Like the one guy speeding and somebody else. I mean, I don't even know. The blue and gray.
Well, that guy, they couldn't even do an autopsy.
Well, that's true.
Right,
That's true.
So
That's
we don't
true.
know if he was
Yeah,
bombed out of his mind
yeah.
or not.
He was a
Yeah.
crispy critter.
Like
But-
Tommy's.
yeah,
and blue
Tommy's.
gray and I just.
Right, Blue and Gray got hit. What was the other? Oh, the Plaza a few years ago. And then, like, the town put up one of those little seating areas in the parking lot right in the path of where the car went that ran into the building. But they took
wow.
it down since.
The pub got hit.
That's what I said. What did I say?
you
The
said
Plaza?
Oh,
No,
sorry,
the
I
Plaza.
don't know
The
what it is.
Plaza.
Sorry.
The Blue and Gray used to be the Plaza. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, the pub.
Yeah,
That's what I
sorry,
meant.
okay.
The pub. So I don't know. It's like a weird thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with last night. So last night went pretty well. Thank you, everybody, for listening and calling in. If you want to say, oh, now he does his job. He's been gone all season. Oh, and the clapper's back, ladies and gentlemen. But if you want to call in today and kind of recap or give your feedback on the show last night, we'll take calls. We're going to do a short show today because you had to deal with us for an hour and 50 minutes last night. So figure we're not going to torture you again for that long. So 717-420-1978. I would like to hear from you. I want to know what you thought about it, even if it's bad. If you had, Matt, you weren't that good or whatever. Let's go ahead. Let's hear it. And then see if I talk to you next time I say hi to you. Or I see you. But that's it. So Owen the Clapper's back here. And where have you been?
I'm not putting him on camera.
Thank you.
That doesn't matter.
Don't give him the satisfaction.
I've just been at home in Virginia. Now I'm back for the college. So.
Well, that's what I mean. Where have you been since college is back in session?
Oh, God. Well, papers. I mean, it really changes. So at the start of freshman year, you have that like 3-week grace period where nothing really happens, and you're basically just meant to go out and do nothing.
That's nice.
But this year, it's like second day of class. Oh, by the way, you have a 3-page paper.
Yeah, now, is that the way it is in freshman year, or is that what you thought it was in freshman year?
I mean, that's what I thought it was in freshman year.
Did they officially say to you, you don't really have to do anything for the first couple of weeks?
I mean, not really, but
Right.
you can tell.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, because you got to adjust. It's first time away from mommy and daddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you guys are,
You're
it's
crying.
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's traumatic. Exactly.
I feel so bad.
I know, but now that I'm a sophomore, it's like hierarchies exist everywhere and they never go away. So like I'm a sophomore now, so
So you pick on
there's
the freshmen.
someone under me now.
Now you
It's a good
feel
feeling.
you feel good.
Yeah.
But you don't matter. See, that's the thing.
Yeah, I still don't matter.
Freshmen matter because they're the babies. Sophomores don't matter.
They're the in-between.
Juniors, they're gonna be seniors.
Yeah.
You know, they're almost there. Seniors, of course, you're the stars for the year. Sophomore, I never liked being a sophomore.
It's kind of like when you turn 19 and you
Yes.
still got 2 years until you
Until you're
can drink.
21. It's
Yeah.
just that stupid
in
age.
between that you forget about.
Yeah. No, you're right. And you are 19.
Yeah, just turned 19.
Yeah. So you're a sophomore in college and you're 19, which is a sophomoric year, and you have a sophomoric sense of humor. So
Yep.
it works. It works very well. Well, good. So how is school so far?
It's good. This year there was lower enrollment, so I'm imagining we're going to see some college having to figure some things out. People just aren't going to college as much.
Lower enrollment, yet they seem to be twice as loud at 3 o'clock in the morning so far this year. So
Yeah.
that's good. I can't wait for the dead of winter, so they'll stay inside. And you're living in it's not a frat house.
It's the nerd house.
It's a Civil War house.
Yeah, so the college has, and I actually really like this, they have a multitude of houses. Not only do they have frats, but they have themed houses
Yeah.
because they had to make do with the real estate that they couldn't tear down.
So weird to me. That's,
right?
I mean, I know what you're saying, but it just
Right, but
It's
you
like
buy
there's
all
a
these.
Halloween house.
Right, you buy all these historic houses and you can't renovate them or you
Disney.
become a felon.
I want to stay in the Hawaiian luau house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of theme.
So we have a Civil War house. There's like a diaspora house for like people from all over the world.
What is the word?
Diaspora?
What does that mean?
Communities that aren't in their homeland anymore. So it's
Is that an acronym?
kinda.
What
no,
is it?
it's not an
No,
acronym.
it's
It's how have you not
That's
heard
a
this?
word? I've
You
never
studied
heard
the
it.
Civil War.
What is it?
Diaspora.
diaspora.
Never heard it.
All right.
Never
So-
heard it. Or maybe I read it and I never realized what it was.
Okay, so a good example is the transatlantic, light subject, transatlantic slave trade. When they took native Africans
Yes.
from Africa and brought them to America, that is called a diaspora.
Okay.
When they're taken from their homeland.
Got it. No, never heard that word before.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You hear it a lot with like the Holocaust, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It can mean a couple of different things depending on the context.
Well,
One,
yeah. But
if it is capitalized and being used as a noun,
Okay.
it's talking about Judaism.
okay.
Interesting.
Otherwise, it is people settled far from their ancestral homelands.
Okay.
So I guess theoretically, like
You had to. You
everybody in America,
I might not.
had to have seen the.
I mean,
word.
if I saw the word, I never was curious to find out what it meant, and I definitely wouldn't have pronounced it diaspora. I would have pronounced it diaspora because I'm from New Jersey.
Well,
That
I
makes
think that's
sense.
how you're actually supposed to pronounce it. I'm just.
No, it's diaspora.
Okay, so we're both dumb. But yeah, there's just theme houses everywhere. There's like
Okay.
a farmer's house.
Yeah. Oh,
Educator's
farmer's
house.
house. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
A lot of
There's
Baker's
no-
house. You have a baker's house.
Not a lot of farmers at Gettysburg College.
It's like the village people.
There's not.
No.
Well, I'll be
They're all
damned.
from New Jersey.
not a lot of
The
farmers.
farmers are from New Jersey.
No, just most
Oh,
of the
I was going to
students
say,
are
there's
from
no way
New
that's
Jersey.
true either. I've
Yeah.
been to New Jersey. There's not very many farms.
Not where
South
you've
Jersey.
been. No. Yeah. Yeah. Down south, there's a ton of them. It's all farms down south.
No, but it's a lot
All
of
right,
fun.
so good. You're having fun. I see you got a Polaroid camera here. I find this very interesting that your generation is fascinated with what we determined was crap.
Yeah.
I mean, the pictures they take. Let me see if you don't mind. I don't know. Maybe the pictures have gotten better now. What do I do here?
So you hold down on the power button.
Which is the back one here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
uh-huh.
All right.
And
Got
then
it.
the big
All right.
red button on the front takes the
Yep.
picture.
There we go. Got
Then-
it. And let's take a picture of Owen. There we go. Let's see how this comes out. Do you still have to shake them and
I
everything?
mean, you can. So the So my roommate was big into cameras, and he said the reason that was such a controversy with people who knew about cameras is the chemicals they used to use were like really unstable. So that whole like shake it thing became a thing.
Shake it like a Polaroid picture?
And it actually did more damage because
to shake it. You just let it air dry. Okay.
So like this one, I took a mat
So let's see. How
in
is
the
that?
studio. And
Showing my scar.
it's not pretty,
I got in a
pretty
knife
good.
fight. A lot of people don't know this on Monday night.
You should just stick with Hickey.
You know the real reason I bought this?
Well, it doesn't really look like a hickey.
No, it doesn't. But I mean, you hang
Doesn't
in some
really look
weird
like a
crowd,
stab
so I have
wound
no
either.
idea. I don't know.
You want to know the real reason that I find this camera really cool? So my roommate gave it to me for my birthday.
Are we talking about the camera again?
Yeah.
We are.
We're off my hickey?
But
Okay.
it has a really specific and cool purpose. It shoots in square. You know what else shot in square? Civil War cameras. So theoretically,
Okay,
you
so-
can take this out.
So
stick it in the
theoretically,
same
this
place.
is absolutely nothing like.
Theoretically, this is
Civil War
absolutely
camera.
pseudoscience. but I'm
Theoretically,
trying to
you've got a
sound
phone
smart.
in your pocket that can do all sorts of things with the camera, and you can then put filters on it to make it look old. Why do you need a Polaroid? What is the fascination with Polaroids
Why
and
not?
Gen Z?
Because I'm a fet.
Because you're a what?
A fet.
Like,
Oh.
Like boba?
No.
No.
You mean a feet?
A fet.
A
No,
fet.
It's another word.
Okay.
Never mind.
Another word I haven't heard before.
It was a shot at
That one I
self-deprecation.
don't know.
You mean effeminate?
No,
You're effeminate, yes. I know
Yeah,
that.
you got me, Matt. Look at how I'm dressed. I'm so effeminate.
Well, it's more about the behavior than the dress. All right, well, good, Owen. I'm glad that you're back in town. You don't have to use my spot now because my parking spot because you do have parking on campus now.
Don't have to be a bum.
Oh well, no, actually, because you're in the house, the Civil
Yeah.
War house. Now, do you guys have big wild parties?
Come on. No, not
Really?
really. Well, they usually go out. To
Why
other
can't you
places.
can't have fun?
So like there was a really cool group of guys
just
in the
wild
last.
hardtack baking parties, and
They have done that twice. By the
corn
way.
shucking.
That's happened
Pipe
twice.
packing.
Square dancing.
So what? You don't have wild? Well, you should have a party.
There's no like real ragers. Like most of the Civil War kids like go elsewhere.
Yeah, but I'm saying you need to make it happen.
So I want to make it happen, and there was a really cool group of guys in the house a couple years ago, but they've all come and gone. And they did like 50s themed parties. Granted, they also knew how to play instruments, so
yeah.
they could put it on a whole lot better. But stuff like that needs to come back. It's not going to work. It's
A
really
real hootenanny.
It's really nerdy.
Why couldn't you do something that's more contemporary?
Well, right. So another good idea is we're next to
Like,
Sigma
why don't you
Chi.
team up with the people at the Hawaiian
Exactly.
themed house and put on a luau in the backyard?
Why don't you guys like
Grass
team
skirts.
up with the house that has like women?
All the rape allegations? Isn't there one of those houses or something?
What is it?
Isn't there one house that has like rape allegations coming out the wazoo or something?
Oh my!
Here?
Yeah, wasn't there something?
There was an email at the beginning of the year that one had occurred. So this is my problem.
Wait. Tell this story.
Okay, so there was like a.
Can you pull up the email?
No, I don't know. It was just sent to all students, but it was like we've received reports that someone has put like roofies in someone's drink. Yeah, so
Really?
legitimately scary.
What?
I didn't know about that. I was talking about last year. Weren't you on last year?
Yeah,
They
this
were
sounds
talking about
familiar,
Something
that
that,
there was
then
something.
somebody else beat up somebody else because it happened or something.
Yeah,
or something goofy. Like,
yeah.
I don't know about that, so that might have just been a news thing that y'all saw, but I know. So every year at the beginning of the year you take a course about sexual assault. I'm always like this
Like
is
how to do it, or
no like what not to do, and I always feel infantile
Oh, not
because
to.
like since age 3 I've known like
You don't do that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah.
But apparently people still need to be taken out
Listen,
back and shot.
hormones are a hell of a drug.
Well,
It's crazy what it makes people do, and they think they can get away with, and then you realize, no. When she said no, she actually meant
is it
that.
hormones or is it narcissism?
Well, it's a little bit of both.
It's
It's a
a
little bit of
generation
both.
that only cares about themselves.
There's been sexual
Yeah,
shitheads
that's-
Oh my God,
all
yeah.
throughout time.
like
I think it's a mix of everything awful.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Well, it sounds like you're having fun.
Light.
And is there a lady in your life this year? Not yet.
Come
any
on,
any
Matt.
interests?
Come on, Matt. You know what I do.
he lives in the Civil War house.
I know.
Look, there's a one
How
historian.
many people are in the Civil War house with you?
There's like 15.
5.
There's a one historian
15.
per generation cap in my family to make sure we procreate. My dad just got incredibly lucky.
Okay.
So, now,
So
now
it's gotta skip
Now
you.
I also have to overcome
Yeah,
Herculean
well, that's not
odds.
true. You might meet a librarian that you like,
Really
and-
boring.
huh?
That'd be kind of boring.
No.
You should always look to marry a teacher. They make the best mothers.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with that one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I've had like the opposite
experience
yeah.
with teachers.
Yeah.
Who's it?
Not in my family.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No.
That's good.
You've observed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. See, I've observed that Owen is right. I know a lot of teachers, and they seem to be. And I'm not their child, so I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But they seem to be good mothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to love being around kids
Right.
to be a teacher.
And you got to have a lot
Oh, you've got it. I mean, you had to at least to start.
That also is not really my experience.
No, because they're probably jaded by the time you talk to them. But like to start, you've got to think you love that because I couldn't. Could you, Ronnie? No.
tactics.
I can't even volunteer at the Children's Museum.
I get tired after watching my niece and nephew for 2 hours.
So,
I'm like, when are your parents coming back? It's not them going, when are they coming home? It's me going, when are they coming home? You know?
Yeah.
You got to wait until they're like old enough to fend for themselves.
Yeah. Then they're
And
awesome.
it's so much easier.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Don't do anything.
I think educators make just good people in general because they care about more than just them.
Yeah.
They care about
yeah.
giving you something good too.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well,
an example is everyone in the
We'll
studio.
have to discuss my high school when we're done here.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss some other things.
Eric, are you from Pittsburgh?
I am not, no.
Oh shit.
Why?
Oops.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oops.
Oops.
That landed flat.
Bad word.
Where were you going with that? Go ahead.
Milk's gone bad.
Let's say he was from Pittsburgh. What were you going to say?
I don't know. I was just gonna tell him to change locations.
I mean, I live here now.
Yeah.
Can we get the clip of me just?
Well, Owen, are you back just today, or are you coming back to be the clapper again?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna come back to be the clapper.
Oh, okay. So you just decide out of the blue, 2 months into the fall season.
Well, I don't know if you're on Facebook, Matt, but my grandmother died. I haven't been here.
Oh, what a jerk! I feel like such a jerk now.
Look, now you do
Don't.
the car crash button. Look,
Yeah,
look
really.
at that.
Thank
no,
you.
so I've been back and forth with
Death
Virginia
comes
for
for us
family
all.
stuff.
No, really? Did she really die?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, everyone has that history role model, and my grandmother was mine. So I'm really glad that she was in my life.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
So she sparked your interest in history?
Absolutely.
How old was she?
She lived to be 83.
That's a pretty good age.
Well, on top of that, not only did she live to be 83, but she survived like 2 strokes, cancer, like a whole litany of stuff, and she
Wow.
was there. She saw me
Yeah.
graduate high school. So
It's like my grandfather. He had a heart attack, quadruple bypass surgery, like 3 cancers, surgeries for 2 of them that I can recall, and he lived at 93. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he just kept kicking. I hope I got those genes from him. I hope those are my dominant genes, is what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah, but probably not.
Like sometimes I think it'd
First round of cancer, I'm out. You know.
Sometimes I think it'd be cool to live to 100, but other times it's like the first day my ankle hurts, I want someone to throw me over a boat.
You might not have to wait that long. Well, all right. Listen,
Better toughen up,
Cameron.
kiddo. Oh my
jeez.
God.
So you need to come around more often because he'll do that to you. Oh, jeez, oh man.
I didn't mean Cameron. I meant Owen. Owen the clapper, of course. Why would I call you Cameron?
I mean, he's kind of been my replacement.
He has.
He has cooler audio bits than I do.
He does that. Yes, he does.
You have your 8 files of.
Yeah, no, I don't, because.
There's so much personality in it, you know.
Well, first of all, no one has clapped since you left.
That's really sad.
Yeah, we don't know how and when to do it. We need your guidance.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I'm here
don't know.
for. Have I made the time period go on long enough?
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
cool.
Thank you very much. You got us to our first break. We're going to take our break. We'll come back. We want to hear your calls, ladies and gentlemen. Call in 717-420-1978. We'll be right back.
Want to be on the show? Send an email to info@addressinggettysburg.com. Be sure to include the reason why you think you'd make a good guest when you write us.
When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. We'll give him a hearty welcome then, hurrah.
Ever wanted to be a part of a movie production? Well, now is your chance. Hope Kelly is still struggling with heartache several years after her abrupt, life-changing decision to buy an apple farm outside the small town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. But the loneliness of isolation gradually replaced the peace she initially found on the farm. Sent reeling when her fiancé left her for another woman before a previous Christmas, Hope has sworn off Christmas and relationships. But when her brother Ryan's old army buddy Nick shows up to the farm and is immediately taken with Hope, the temperature starts to rise. Still, it will take a Christmas miracle in the form of Charlie to help mend Hope's heart and allow her to trust again and find love. Join writer, producer, and director Bo Brinkman in the production of A Gettysburg Christmas with named talents like Jake Busey and Lee Majors. The script has tailored scenes to shoot at specific locations to highlight the beauty, history, and capture the Christmas spirit of Gettysburg with the goal of inspiring viewers to visit in droves. Those of you who have been wanting another movie to revitalize interest in visiting our awesome town have finally gotten your wish. And now you can be a part of getting this project off the ground. Bo and company are turning to you, the citizens of Gettysburg and the lovers of Gettysburg, to make this grassroots effort work. No Hollywood BS, just pure Christmas joy and romance. Just click the link in the show notes to get started or go to GoFundMe.com and search for A Gettysburg Christmas.
You've heard us promote various ways that you can help us keep the show going, but one way we haven't pushed too much is our sutlery at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. That's a shame because we have designs over there by talented artists like Ty DeWitt of 1863 Designs and Mike Stretch of the Heritage Depot. So now we're promoting it. Buying shirts, hoodies, mugs, and other items from our sutlery not only helps us keep the lights on, but it also helps guys like Ty and Mike, and it helps spread the word about the show every time you wear an item or you sip from your mug. So head over to addressinggettysburg.com/shop and grab some merch. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the Gettys nerd in your family. That's addressinggettysburg.com/shop.
Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. Isn't it, Eric?
You're darn tootin', Matt.
It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used, and online they have even more books to choose from.
But Matthew, what if the Civil War is simply not my thing?
Not a problem, my fine four-fendered friend. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books.
It's astounding how they squeeze thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more into their store.
And it's also astounding how you and I both squeeze into our pants every day. Well, handsome, they have a warehouse too, and that's where they keep all those books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs.
What if I prefer to browse in the store and don't want to go online to get my books?
Great question, Doodlebug. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com, stop by 42 York Street, or call 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
Need a Corps badge or other insignia for your uniform? Then check out the Badge Maker. Here's what some of his satisfied customers had to say. Miranda said, "I ordered an identification disc from Joe and it's fantastic. He hand stamped it exactly as I wanted. It has a great rough on-campaign feel to it and was reasonably priced to boot." Greg said, "My unit has purchased from him in the past. Quality badges and good service." And Jerry S. says, "The Badge Maker is the go-to place for accurate replica Civil War badges. Visit CivilWarCorpsBadges.com and attach a message with your order saying you heard about him on Addressing Gettysburg."
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum, is housed in the historic Lutheran Seminary building constructed in 1832, a witness to the first day of battle. The museum's 3 floors of exhibits connect visitors to the dilemmas that led to the Civil War, provide a powerful and personal view of the battle's first day, and explore one of the battlefield's largest hospitals. No visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center is complete without a guided tour of the building's famous cupola, where on the eve of battle, officers and civilians saw thousands of Confederate soldiers' campfires burning to the west, and Brigadier General John Buford watched for vital federal reinforcements as fighting erupted on the morning of July 1st. Today, you can stand where Buford stood and discover how this view helped chart the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. Your trip to Gettysburg is not complete without a serious visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum. Purchase tickets online at seminaryridgemuseum.org or call
717-339-1300. To get tickets or a cupola tour, listeners may call or walk in and mention Addressing Gettysburg, or by ordering online using the promo code AG1863 for 20% off. Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center. It began here.
There's a devil to pay.
This special episode of Addressing Gettysburg is brought to you in part by me, audiobook narrator Mike Scott, narrator of Savis Beattie's Bloody Autumn, the Shenandoah Valley campaign of 1864, and Unlike Anything That Ever Floated, the Monitor and Virginia and the Battle of Hampton Roads. If you are an author or publisher interested in having your titles produced as audiobooks, or even just in learning more about the process, give me a shout. You can find my contact info on my website, MikeScottVoice.com. That's MikeScottVoice.com. Hey, historian, author, and licensed battlefield guide Tim Smith. Matt gave me a full minute, so let me ask you an important question. Isn't it about time that John Burns' Hero of Gettysburg became an audiobook? Sickles has an audiobook. You know Jenny Wade is going to deserve an audiobook. Let's give John a shot. Get in touch, Tim. That's MikeScottVoice.com. I'm Mike Scott, your voice of history.
And Civil War Trails. It's the world's largest open-air museum, and they offer over 1,300 sites across 6 states. Drive the Gettysburg campaign turn by turn, paddle to Frederick Douglass's birthplace, or hike to remote earthworks and artillery positions. Visit civilwartrails.org to request a brochure and explore their interactive map. Follow Civil War Trails and create some history of your own. Hey, Gettysburg business owners. Winter is just around the bend, and you know what that means. No tourists. But just because people aren't coming to you doesn't mean you can't bring your business to them. If you ship, you're still in the game. And if you're a seasonal business, the time to advertise for your next season is in the off-season when people are making their plans. So what's an affordable yet highly effective way of reaching those people? Well, it's not radio. It's not TV, and it's certainly not print. Step out of the Jurassic era of advertising and run an ad on Addressing Gettysburg. We just reached 1 million downloads, and we're growing by the tens of thousands every month. Beyond that, our audience is happy to support those who support their favorite podcast. So email sales@Addressing Gettysburg for more information about advertising on our show. We look forward to helping your business grow. That's sales@AddressingGettysburg.com.
You're listening to the Addressing Gettysburg podcast with Matt Cowlery.
Was that a ghost? Nah, ghosts aren't real. You're back with Addressing Gettysburg today. Here's Matt.
All right, thank you, Huevos. We have a new announcer coming on. Huevos had to leave. His brother, Cebolas Grande, is coming on to be the new voice of Addressing Gettysburg. I'll take that, Bob. I'll take it, Bob. Want to give... Bob's trying to give Eric money, but Eric's refusing it, and I'll take it. I'll gladly take it.
Like how you will.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the one and only 6 Questions Lens. He wants to recap the show last night. Michael, 6 Questions Lens, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing quite well.
Wonderful. What did you think of the show last night? You got to ask a very important question that's been on everybody's mind for years, if not decades. What was your question?
About the licensed battlefield guides moving forward, and
That's right.
what the relationship between the park and the guides was going to be, and of course reiterating the fact that they're statutorily in there. They can't just be removed arbitrarily by the superintendent.
Right.
It'd have to take probably an act of Congress to remove them from remove the guide service altogether.
Yeah, it's a law.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting. Yeah, it's a law. So I think that's an interesting thing moving forward, seeing what happens with that. The fascinating thing about the show last night was getting his vision of what he sees, what he wants to do with the park. And I think one of the significant ramifications will actually come with the get out of the car tours. Because from what I hear, from what he was saying, he really wants us to stay to the paths and to the avenues as much as possible. And so it's not a whole, I mean, of course, the pre-mowed paths, right? You know, like those paths that are mowed along fence lines and, of course, towards the angle of Pickett's Charge.
Sure.
So no going through the weeds, right?
Right.
Not that we were going to do that anyway, because Lewis doesn't like to go necessarily trundling off into a weed field. But I think it's an interesting thing that being mindful of what that's going to be moving forward and his vision of trying to prevent erosion will have impact not only on ranger walks, like you talked about last night, but also what we are probably going to do with Get Out of the Car tours.
Yeah, I mean, if it ever comes to a point where we can't do that, I mean, that defeats the whole purpose of the Get Out of the Car tour, so I would just have to end it. But I don't think, if there's a mode path that we could take, I mean, that we always take that anyway,
So that I probably dropped the ball on not asking this or following up with him, but pretty much every marker or monument should have some kind of access to them, right?
Yeah, I
Isn't
would
that the
agree.
theory? So,
Yeah.
I mean, is that the case? I mean, I don't know. I mean, do every?
I mean, they were put there to be visited.
Yes.
Right. But I'm saying, today, if I walked out on the field, is there a mode path or some kind of trail to every single marker?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Well, then I should have asked why. Why not?
No.
Right? I mean.
Yeah, I'm going through it, all 1,400 of them in my head really quickly. Let me see.
763.
I can tell you for sure there's one in Rose's Woods that does not have a path. To it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When you get into woods and things like that, it's going to be a little more difficult. But
Lost Lane barely has a trail
Neil
to it.
Avenue.
Barely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. You can't access that very easily. Unless you know... I forgot his name.
Dean Schultz.
Dean, thank you. I was going to say George Schultz. And
I do what I can.
It's not George. All right, so go ahead, Mike. What else? I'm interested in your searing review here.
I think, well, first of all, to your crushing disappointment, it doesn't look like we're going to do Battlefield After Dark anytime soon.
I know.
I think he's pretty set on that particular change.
But I think I'm going to keep needling him, though. I'm going to, every time I see him, I'm going to be like, come on, just June to August. Memorial Day to Labor Day. Let us stay out till 10.
They should let us do Ghostbuster Busters.
Ghostbuster Busters. I like that.
Like go out with a camera and a bunch of bright lights.
Like it's a special forces team from Park Watch.
Finding the
It's the Ghostbusters Busters.
Get on the ground.
Yeah. No ghost hunting.
He's got a gun.
He's got an EMF reader.
He sees an orb. He's got one in his pocket.
What? Go ahead, Mike.
I honestly think, it's going to take a lot of adjustment to as far as what his vision is going to be for us. And I think it was nice to have him be on the show and to explain what his vision is for this park. And I think that would really go a long way to help clearing a lot of the air, a lot of the rumors that have been floating around here, is to have him on there and actually articulate what he sees as the path forward for this National Battlefield Park.
You know what I like to do, Mike, sometimes, and this is a totally different subject, but I like to go to baseball games.
Make this?
I like to go to baseball games in three-piece suits with a watch fob and a fake beard that says Charlie Blackmon on it. Oh,
yeah,
there it is.
Yeah,
oh,
man,
there,
that was me.
Get out.
Denver. Yeah, that was
you.
That's me.
Wait, what?
Yeah, tell me the story
That was
behind, because we're looking at this picture on the show now. So tell me what we're looking at here.
So I'm a Colorado Rockies fan.
Uh-huh.
And of course I grew up in Colorado.
Right.
It says that on your
and
beard.
So while I was working at the state legislature in Denver, Charlie Blackmon, a player for the Rockies, became pretty big. He was an all-star. And he had this prodigious beard. Well, of course, the Rockies not failing to capitalize on merchandise.
Yeah.
Instead of selling foam fingers, they would sell foam beards.
I love it.
With Charlie Blackmon on it.
Great idea.
And then, of course, I was coming straight from the Capitol. I went to an evening game there in Coors Field, and that's my usual uniform I wore at the state Capitol building.
Yeah.
Three-piece suit with a watch fob.
I like the watch. I mean, it's snazzy. It's a good look. You should bring it back.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have much occasion to do so. So
get out of the car tours.
Right?
I think next week you get out of the car tour. You should come out and wear that. Wear a three-piece suit.
Three-piece suit with a watch fob and a bowler hat.
Yeah.
With a cane.
Exactly. exactly.
The full Winston Churchill on you.
That's right. You got the bowler hat now, and you got
Transformation will
Kane.
be complete.
yeah. Oh, you got to do that, Mike. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, come out to the Get Out of the Car tour to see Mike in a 3-piece suit and a bowler hat. It'll be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
tons of
Mike.
fun.
In all seriousness, you should agree to that, but on the condition that Matt wears the Borat mankini.
I was thinking in my head, whatever he says, I'll do, except that. I will not. Only because it will frighten so many people, and people bring their families.
It'd be terrifying, but it would be. It would be, within the spirit of the month.
That's true.
Being the month of Halloween, just scare the shit out of little kids.
Boo! Yeah, I'll just hide behind a bush and then jump out in the Borat mankini.
I don't know that there's much hiding in that.
What an awful sight! I'm picturing this in my head because I see myself in the mirror when I get into the shower, and hoofa. Nobody wants to see that, Eric.
I'm glad I don't live in your house.
Oh, yes, you are. Well, you wouldn't have to see me in the shower, but. All right, Mike. Well, okay. So overall, what would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10? What would you give it? A 5?
The show?
Yeah.
Or the mankini idea?
Well, we'll start with the show, and then we'll go to the mankini idea.
The show was a 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Best show ever?
The mankini idea, yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
The mankini idea, how far can we go negative on this? I mean,
negative 10.
Please, for the love of God, no.
All right, but you'll still wear the 3-piece suit, right?
I don't have one that actually fits me right now, so I can't promise anything.
Okay. Well, you can cut the back of it and just drape it over you. Like a hospital gown.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Just make sure you wear underwear.
It sounds like he's going to get right on that.
Yeah, he's really into this idea. All right, Mike. All right. I don't want to take any more of your time. But thank you for calling in, Michael, and I'll see you. I'll see you next week because I'm going away tomorrow. So I will see you next week. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. You have a good one, Mike. Thanks for the call.
Next week.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye. So that was great, Michael. And speaking of this weekend, I'm going out to Pittsburgh at the Captain SB Post in the Carnegie Library.
In Carnegie.
For those of you who live outside of Pittsburgh, it's pronounced Carnegie, and that's where you're going to want to go. I hope to see you there. I know I have heard from some listeners who said that they will be there. John Eric, I spoke with him today, and he told me that some of his people who hadn't heard of us before have been binging Addressing Gettysburg to prepare for the event of their lifetime, which will be on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Saturday, October 8th. Hope to see you all there. We want to get them up to 100 people, but we'll be happy if we get them to 70, because I think that was their average before the Rona hit and everything like that. So, yeah. What are you doing this weekend, Owen?
Well, the National Park Service is doing a film shoot for Antietam stuff. So
yeah. Are you going to go down for that?
Saturday.
Cameron's a production assistant on that.
I imagine I'm just going to play someone dead.
Okay. Well, he said, why do you imagine that you're going to play a dead guy?
I feel like I'm pretty good for dead people. I'm bigger than a Civil War soldier.
Bloated, because they're bloated. Yeah. Yeah. Does
that get you pleasure to get that word out?
No. Because I offered to be in it as well, and they said you could play a dead guy because you're bloated, and I said no. I was looking for the starring role, so I said no.
See, I'm either going to be dead or I'm going to be like a Rhode Islander who gets shot at Burnside's Bridge, and then I'll be like, but it's my family doing it. So,
hold on. Somebody's on the phone here. I just want to let them come in here really quick, and let's see. Homer, you on the air?
Oh my God.
All right, Homer didn't like that. Ronnie, you were going to say something, and I interrupted you to get that.
That was literally my dad. It's literally my dad on the phone.
Oh, because your dad's name is Homer.
Yeah. Forgot that.
What were you going to say, Ronnie? You're about to speak.
With him.
You don't remember? What are you saying while I'm talking, hosting the show, and you're mumbling something on the microphone underneath, Owen? What are you saying?
I don't know.
Exactly. It wasn't even worth it.
Probably.
You doing news or events first?
She's the gal who knows what's going on. So take notes. There's a test at the end. Here's AG Today's lead anchor, Veronica Brestensky, with news, traffic, weather, sidewalk conditions, and what's happening this weekend.
I must have all possible information.
It's a miracle! I'm cured!
Ronnie Ronstadt, you don't have a lot of news, right? No news.
Just so we talked about this in the during the break. I don't know if this is exactly news, but it was fascinating that the annual National Apple Harvest Festival, whatever it's called, Orangeville, Biglerville, whatever. It is a rain or shine event. And because we had so much rain, as I guess a result of the remnants of Hurricane Ivan, I forget what
Ian,
it was. Ian,
I didn't even know that.
they actually canceled last Sunday. Sunday morning, they put out an announcement basically saying that the fields that they used to park vehicles and use shuttles and things like that, it was just too muddy, and they didn't want to take a chance of vehicles getting stuck, etc.
Sure.
And they canceled. So that was kind of a big deal because you have a couple hundred vendors and everything like that. And
People come to town.
Tickets sold in advance and all this other stuff. So the upshot is, if you're in town this weekend, this is the second and final weekend of the festival. So go ahead and check that out.
And also, if you're coming to town, and this is really good advice for most any time during the year when we're doing the Get Out of the Car tours, but especially for October, if you're coming to town for the tour and you think, oh, we'll just get a hotel that night or the week of, forget it. Yeah. I have friends who... my one friend, Donnie, he's coming out, and he, of course, waited till the last week of September and couldn't find anything closer than the Eisenhower, which isn't terribly far away. But if you're the type that likes to go, binge drink and then walk or stroll or crawl around town afterwards and then crawl back to your hotel room, you're going to have a hard time doing that if you have to go to Greencastle or something like that.
Yeah.
So October... always a very busy month on the weekends. Even April, too. April, there's always stuff going on. The beginning and the end of the nice weather seems to be a busy time. So keep that in mind.
Ghost tours, right? October's a big deal around here because of that.
Yeah, ghost tours. Yeah.
The dead only come back on the 30th.
Yeah.
31st.
I forgot the day.
Jesus. It's Halloween.
Yeah, I'm too old.
You're
Feast of
closer
All
to
Hallows.
trick-or-treating than any of us are.
Yeah. You just went again last year.
Look, so you want to know my Halloween idea for the front porch of the Civil War house?
No.
Damn.
Nobody asked this, but go ahead. Tell me.
I was going to do like Edmund Ruffin.
Okay.
So I was going to go to the Walmart and buy one of the skulls and cut it in half.
Uh-huh.
And, then buy a couple of other skeletons and put dresses on them. And then I'm going to put a giant sign that says Edmund Ruffin. No one will get it but me.
Right.
And I'll have to find a toy shotgun.
You live in the Civil War house. They might know.
Yeah, somebody in the house would get it. Nobody outside the house would get it.
Like they would know.
But my question is, why do you want to make a Halloween display based on a Motown singer?
I didn't think he did Motown.
What becomes of the broken-hearted? That guy.
Edmund Ruffin blew his brains out.
Oh, that guy.
He sure did, yeah.
You mean the guy who wrapped himself in the flag and blew his brains out?
Yeah. Now, I won't read it on air, but
against the women. Did you say women skeletons?
So the funny story with that is his daughter heard the first cap go off of his shotgun, came upstairs, and not only did they open the door, but Edmund Ruffin just said, whatever, and blew his brains out in front of them all.
So the first one was a misfire?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he did it in front of... I never heard that detail. So he did it in front of everybody.
Like, he right as they were opening the door, kabam. So...
I love you.
And if you're a listener, you should go look up his last diary entry.
I knew he killed himself because he was upset, but
You should go read his last diary entry. It's really funny.
All joking aside, I would have gotten who it was, but my question is why?
No, I just find it really funny. If you look at his last diary entry.
What's his last diary entry say?
Oh, my God.
Explain to me, walk me through your thought process that led to this idea. You're walking around.
I just find moments in the Civil War really funny that are usually taken really
Canavan
reverently.
has a good question. What the heck goes on in that college?
Yeah.
Nothing much.
So wait, so you're walking around one day and you go, well, what can we do for the porch on Halloween?
Yeah, Edmund Ruffin.
And then you think of Edmund Ruffin, of all people.
Well, he was a genius before. I just find really things that people normally take very reverently and sacred with Civil
you
War
like
history.
to mock.
I find it kind of funny sometimes.
And I agree. I think that's a healthy thing to do. Those people shouldn't take themselves so seriously.
And the reason I find his death funny is because his last diary entry is incredibly insane. It
Read
reads, "And now with my last writing and utterance, and with that will be nearest to my last breath, I here repeat and would willingly proclaim my unmitigated to Yankee rule, to all political, social, and business connections with Yankees, and to the perfidious, malignant, and vile Yankee race." I just found it really funny that he's using Yankee as like a racial slur, and that's just like never what you hear it as. So.
Well, I think it's funny that they think it's a race.
Yeah, that's even funnier.
I actually there was an Instagram account, I swear it was some guy in his mom's basement, but it was posing as like a hot blonde who loves the South.
Yes.
You remember this.
That was a big thing.
And I said something like, she was all, she in quotes, was all friendly at one point, and then made a comment under a post. It wasn't a bad comment or something like that. I think it was something like, why don't you talk more about Confederate units on your show? And I said, well,
we don't have
because the
enough.
North won.
Oh.
And I think it's more interesting to find out how someone won as opposed to how someone lost, although that's also interesting, but I just find it more interesting to find out how the winner wins. And that was enough for her to go on the warpath and hate me.
You touched the no-no.
And she actually said in a post, and she, of course, misspelled addressing Gettysburg when she added me, so it didn't actually link to everything. But somebody sent it to me, and she goes, unfollow addressing Gettysburg if you love the South, because he's racist against the South. And I'm like, we're the same race, you idiot. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, Northern and Southern, it's not a race. Mm-hmm. But to some people, it still is. Speaking of things here, I don't know if you saw this last night, but this is a little mug here that somebody gave me. It's a beaver, and he says, "I don't give a damn." And this is some...
that will go missing sometime soon, I predict. I have a perfect location for that.
Yeah, you want it for home?
Yeah.
Here you go, man. Here's an episode idea. To understand these people better, you should have like a Southern historian and a Northern historian come on and say and like do an episode of each of like, what is this region? All the history.
Our region here?
No.
Oh,
North
anyway.
and South.
Mm-hmm.
Like compare them.
I love the Southern people. I love the Southern culture. I don't like Southerners who think the Confederacy was standing on good ground.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
they think that they had a good point.
That's the hurt.
And that try to convince me that the war was not about slavery because my great-great-grandpappy didn't own a slave. I don't give a flying F. He fought to preserve slavery, whether he could own them or not. Period. End of discussion. Sick of it.
Even take slavery out of it.
All right, take slavery out of it.
Even take slavery out of it.
They tried to break up the country. Yes.
They don't want to be Americans.
They don't want to be Americans.
It's like, that's...
those of you who are on Patreon, there's some good shows coming out in October and into November. Ty Sigilly is one of them. He was a retired general, and he wrote the book Robert E. Lee and Me. And we really got into this conversation quite a bit. And now I forgot my point. The whole setup took forever. But whatever. You'll hear it when it comes out, and you can probably figure out something about that there. But yeah. It is a very peculiar... Oh, no, that's the whole point, is like his point with Southern monuments is he's like, I'm a United States soldier. I was in the Army. And these monuments are up to people who killed United States soldiers.
Yes, because they were their people, Matt, and you can't get around that anyway. The South was a conglomeration of people who thought dead set a certain way.
Yes,
and just like I would not expect the Bosnians in Serbia to get rid of their history, I would not expect every Southerner to condemn. And I think a lot of people don't like it because it smacks of iconoclasm.
Well, I think people don't like it because they lost...
There's points to it.
And they were our enemies, and they killed our people who they did not want to be a part of. And then they lose and get to put up monuments and rewrite the history. By the way, only in America can the loser write the history of a war. But they get to rewrite the history, put up monuments, and then like act like, don't forget, we were all Americans. No, you weren't. Not for 4 years.
They absolutely weren't.
This whole phenomenon, and then can we move on? This whole phenomenon is not unique to the United States.
No, it is not.
This was done by the Germans after World War II.
They put up monuments to...
Not the monumentation, but
remembering it.
Remembrance of it and rewriting history.
Of course.
Which is why you get a lot of older World War II veterans, when there were still a lot of them.
Yeah.
Who made statements like, well, we weren't so different from the Germans. Well, that's complete bullshit.
Our veterans, you're saying.
Correct.
Saying that, yeah.
And for the 20 or 25 years after the war, you still hated them because of what they stood for. But once they started getting histories published from their point of view, well, okay, let's see it from your side. Yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah, but that...
Maybe not everybody was a Nazi. Even though, like, if you were in that, if you were living in Germany in the 30s, whether you were a member of the Nazi Party or not is irrelevant.
You had to,
you were
by default,
you
be
were
a Nazi.
a participant.
But we don't allow Germany. Germany doesn't allow Germany to put up monuments to fallen Nazis.
I'm not talking about just physical monuments, and the Lost Cause is way more
It's
than
just human
physical
psychology.
monuments.
Yeah. But we were talking about monuments, me and Ty, and that's what I'm talking about here.
I don't think we should look at Nazi Germany as our equivalency. I think it's a really terrible equivalency. I think you should look at Poland and Russia, and this is really like out of their like really niche history. But same shit happened. The Russians said you can't own slaves. The Polish said no, and then seceded, and that's a huge part of their national identity. It just gets complicated because...
Well, of course it's complicated because there's millions of people that partake in this stuff. Just like today, everything is complicated. But in 160 years, they're going to look back on this time and oversimplify it in history.
Absolutely.
And my question is, who is going... Like, the loser of the next Civil War, will they get to put up monuments?
The problem with the monument game is that I absolutely 100% I don't disagree with your motivations. If you're someone who doesn't like a Confederate monument, I absolutely understand why you would not want that monument there.
Yeah.
The problem with me gets the philosophical level of, even if you can read about the Civil War in a book, that's the argument we all hear is, oh, the monument's not there. You telling me history doesn't exist in a book. It's a physical manifestation of passage of time, one. It links modern people to stuff that old people touched. And at the end of the day, it's very base by base, and you're never going to have a policy where every monument goes because it's too complicated. Does Jefferson Davis need to be in an 80% black city? Probably not.
No.
But it's base by base. And I think if you go look at the Civil War Institute webpage and go look at their monument mapping project, it adds a whole lot of nuance to an area where it's usually black or white.
Okay, well, there you go. People can go check that out.
Oh! Where the action is.
What's there to do and see when you're in town this weekend? Here's Valerie, Veronica, to fill you in.
It's all covered.
All right, what do you got going on this weekend, Ronnie? Besides, of course, the most important thing, me at the Carnegie
Pittsburgh,
Library.
Yeah.
Go
Are
ahead.
you guys carpooling? Whoever's going from here.
Who's going from here?
I don't know.
No, my friend Emily's going, but that's it.
Oh.
Yeah, we're carpooling. Yeah.
Well, if people want to join you, where do they meet to go out to Pittsburgh with you?
People from here?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We'll meet at the Giant. No, not the Giant. Kenny's. We'll meet at Kenny's.
In town?
Parking lot in town.
When?
Yeah. I don't know. Probably leave around noon.
Tomorrow. Okay.
I doubt anybody is going to want to come out there, but that's very
Me
nice
too,
of you
but
to
I'm just
ask.
it just seemed too easy. I'm sorry.
Thanks for reminding me of what a draw that I'm not. Thank you kindly.
That's not. I'm just busting your chops.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So,
well, John Eric said today that people have already started lining up outside of the library to get in, make sure they get a good seat.
I believe that.
So maybe nobody here, my old confidant and compadre Eric, you, my sidekick, the queen of addressing Gettysburg, you guys have much more important things to do, like an anniversary and whatever you're doing. But
my apologies for having a meaningful relationship with a member of the opposite sex.
It's not what it's cracked up to be, I'll tell you that. But yeah.
See, we're actually sacrificing because we don't want to take you away from the people that don't get to experience your.
There you go. You're freeing up some seats so that people. Yeah, that's very nice.
Sure.
Oh no, will you be my lawyer?
We're freeing up because we would
really
get more attention if we showed up. People would come talk to us,
yeah,
and they would draw away from
This
you.
is
That's
why
what
they
I
call
was
her
just
the
thinking
Johnny
about.
Cochran of Franklin County. because of this nonsense. All right, what's going on this weekend, Ronnie?
So honestly, I don't have too much, guys. Just a friendly reminder that the campfire talks are still going on for the fall. Check the National Park Service website for that. There should be one tonight. I'm sorry, no, it's Thursday. There should be one tomorrow, and there should be one Saturday at 6 p.m. And the Apple Harvest Festival is this weekend again, Saturday and Sunday.
Hey, real quick, though, you're talking about the campfires and stuff. Chris Gwynn stopped by earlier today at 3 o'clock. We had a little talk about several things, and one of the things we talked about were interpretive programs. He's going to come on probably December to talk about the winter programs. But he was talking about how they're going to get things back to normal, pre-COVID normal, and he didn't say this, but I got the sense that he's heard from visitors complaints or seen them online or whatever the case may be, that they're not doing as much as they used to do, but they're still coming off of the ramifications of the lockdowns. The rest of the world has been reopened, but the federal government's different. They're playing by a different, set of rules and everything. And so they're behind maybe a year on getting back into things than we are. But next year, he's got some pretty good ideas, and he is open for other ideas. He wants to really make some really good interpretive programming so that people are going to, not just enjoy themselves, but like remember and think and think. Yeah. And so I think 2023 and beyond, as long as Chris is there, are going to be really good because he wants them to be good.
Right. I'm excited about that.
I am
sure.
too. So for those of you who are all worried that, the park's not doing what it used to do, it's starting to get back into things. You got to give them.
Yeah, and I mean, the seasonals are done, right?
Yeah.
But they're still doing their fall. They have battle walks. Also, check the National Park Service website for that as well for a full list of everything. But I don't really know what at this point of the year. I don't know what else they would be doing. I mean, they're doing the campfires. They brought those back. They're doing the battle walks.
Yep.
They're doing the daily programming. I think at the park still, like the free ranger things. That might be cut down a little bit, but I think they're still doing like their Gettysburg overview, and I think they're doing maybe Culp's Hill. I don't
check
know. The website.
Yeah,
check
they've got a website
there
with a
are
bunch of
things
stuff
going on. Yeah, still,
yeah, and then when winter comes, we're going inside for the lecture
series.
And so that's starting up again too. So
nice.
we had them again last year, but it's going to continue, and just give them some time. The wheels of government move a lot slower than what we prefer or are used to. But they're not just like sitting there picking their noses. Like they are working towards stuff. So give them a chance, folks.
The only other little thing, just another shout out. I did this a couple weeks ago, a couple weeks in advance. Now it's upon us. October 9th, this coming week, in conjunction with the COG, which I believe is Confederation of Generals. It's different than the Confederation of Union Generals, but Confederation of Generals, I believe, is what that stands for.
So you have the COG and the COG.
Yeah, they're having their Victorian fashion show and tea party in conjunction with the Children's Museum. Those tickets are available on the Gettysburg Foundation website. Our friend Miss Yingling reminded us about that event. It actually sounds kind of cool. It's from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Rupp House. Like I said, there is registration. You have to have a ticket. Go ahead on to the Gettysburg Foundation and grab your ticket for that. But there is also a free event on the 14th. So that's next week, right? Is that Friday? When's the tour? 15th?
15th is Saturday, so 14th is Friday.
So Friday, in conjunction with the Gettysburg Library, they're going to hold their fall festival, or their fall fair, I'm sorry. From 2 to 6 o'clock, it's going to be old-fashioned fare, games, music, food. That is free to the public, and that's, again, at the Rupp House. So check out those things and support our friends over at the Children's Museum.
I told you I have an idea for a spin-off show for you and Bethany.
Yeah.
And I told Bethany, and she's very excited about it. I'm not going to tell the audience about it yet because I want to meet with the two of you and go over it more. But yeah, I think it'll be good. Ladies, it's designed for all the ladies that go, where's the women's history? We need more women's history. We need more women in history and all that stuff. And I heard you, and I will respond.
Actually, that reminds me.
Sexist bitch.
Thank you. We actually as a female population, made history again this week. Unfortunately, it was a sad occasion. The Chief Justice of Pennsylvania, Max Baer, passed away unexpectedly. He was set to retire because of mandatory retirement ages in Pennsylvania courts at the end of this year, and Justice Deborah Todd was set to take over at the beginning of next year, becoming the first Chief Justice of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. But she took over this week.
First female, yeah,
I'm sorry. She took over this week when Max passed away. And Max is a good old Pittsburgh boy. He did a lot for family division and kids in need with dependency and things like that. And he'll be sorely missed.
What's family division?
Dependency, custody,
not
that
dividing
kind of stuff.
families.
No.
Okay,
The family division of the courts.
Gotcha.
He did a lot. He was actually recognized nationally for some of the adjustments and suggestions and differences he made, even when he was just a judge in Allegheny County. And then he's been on the Supreme Court for quite a number of years and did some phenomenal things for families and children and adoptions and things like that. So he will be sorely missed, but we did, again, unfortunately, in 2022, I'm sad to sit here and say that that's the first time a female has taken over the Chief Justice position of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, but it's
better
history.
late than never.
So, yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you can't undo what's been done. You can only do better as you go forward, right? Okay? So you got it. You got your woman. And is the world a better place now?
We'll see.
No, it's not. It's the same as it always is.
You sexist bitch.
I like to just bust your balls, Ronnie. Come on.
We would go way down that trail, but we're done.
To me, it's about the content of your character. Okay, that's it. That's it. Content of your character. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
All right. Very good. So we're going to go. Are we going out to eat? You going home?
Yeah.
I got to pack. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week. I hope to see you guys Saturday. If I don't, you're all dead to me. Bye-bye.
Addressing Gettysburg Today is hosted by Matt Callery and Veronica Brestensky, Esquire. Produced by Eric, the producer, Moni. Applause led by Owen the Clabber. Guests of Addressing Gettysburg Today stay wherever they want. That's not our concern. To be a guest on the show, send an email to eric@addressinggettysburg.com. Addressing Gettysburg broadcasts from the Getty's Bike Tour Studios. Get a 15% discount on your next tour with Getty's Bike. I'm Huevos Grande, the voice of Addressing Gettysburg Today. Thanks for listening.
Joyful tears when they saw the honored flag they had not seen.
What do you want, Cameron? What do you want?
Hey! You hung up on me.
Hung up on you?
Yeah, I was on the call line.
And we were on the way out. I didn't see it. We were on the way out.
I just thought I'd tell you.
What's up, Cameron? I have to go to the bathroom.
I'm heading to Antietam.
You're heading to Antietam. So is Owen. You're going to see Owen there tomorrow. He's going to.
I'll be there to die like.
He's playing a bloated corpse.
I want to be the one on the sunken lane where they're reaching in their junk.
All right, nobody cares. All right, Cameron. What do you need? Anything in particular? Because I'm doing the pee-pee dance.
Go on.
All right, that's it. Okay, Cam. Cam, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, bye, Cam. Okay, bye.